the parent's house after they pass away. Starting in 2026, a new federal inheritance regulation will give the government the right to seize real estate assets if certain conditions aren't met. According to a March 2025 report from the U.S. Treasury Department, heirs who cannot immediately pay property transfer taxes and meet updated ownership compliance rules may lose legal rights to inherited homes. The law is part of the National Housing Reform Act and aims to increase housing availability by reclaiming underused or unpaid properties. In practice, this means that if your parents pass away and you can't afford the new fees, or don't move into the home quickly enough, the state can legally take the house and list it for public sale. Critics call it a forced redistribution masked as housing reform. In many states, the new law overrides existing wills and even family trusts, making it harder for children to inherit the homes they grew up in. Legal experts warn that millions of middle-class families could be affected, especially those with property but limited cash. Supporters argue it's a way to prevent real estate hoarding and solve the housing crisis. But for many, it feels like losing your family legacy overnight. You think this is justified or completely unacceptable? Tell me in the comments and follow for more critical updates. You won't be allowed to keep your parents' house.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there onto this like foreigners. For the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. And what the Most High intended for man, this man has broken every single thing, even to his own people, which is ironically funny. This is why Karl Schwab said he shall own nothing and be happy. Now, a lot of people that has inheritance to housing that can be passed down no longer can be passed down because now the states is interfering with that. And if it is true, this is one hell of an unrighteous decree that's being done. This is one hell, this is an ultimate land grab again. This is Esau at his best. Real quick, couple of scriptures. Micah 2:1 says, "Woe to them that devises iniquity and work evil upon their beds." And that iniquity, that evil that they work, here it is. Everything is split, distributed amongst their own. And now he's taking from his own. This is why you had these random fires, natural disasters, because they find minerals in the land and they find high resources that they can utilize. So instead of splitting with the people, they got rid of them. That's their ultimate goal. But before that, people couldn't afford their houses. And since they couldn't afford their houses, the bank interferes and the bank takes their houses from them. This is all part of the elite's masterful plan. All right? Which is wicked as all hell. So what can you, this is why this life over here is not worth living. It's shit. What can you have that you could pass down to anybody? Nothing. Only thing that's going to be left is debt. That's the only thing that's left. It says, and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it's in the power of their hands. Because what? They make these laws, these unrighteous decrees. And under the orange man, a lot of things is being done. Remember, he wants to bring in a 50-year mortgage. And everybody got pissed off about that. Like you just working in debt. Oh, and then the fucked up thing is the mortgages wouldn't go for like hundreds of dollars, like thousands of dollars that you would pay. If somebody was breaking up, you get a $500,000 home, which is crazy. Well, New York is $1 million home, so they said it. Somebody did the calculation that they normally would pay like what $2,300 or something like that, which is utterly ridiculous for 30-year mortgage. If according to Donald J. Trump's new plan, so instead of paying 23, you would just be paying 21. So it only goes back 100 and something. So who wins out of that situation? The banks. The bank always win because a lot of people is going to default. You have to have the job for it. You have to have the guaranteed job for it. In order to have that guaranteed job, you got to be, well, there's no guaranteed jobs neither. Okay? Matter of fact, let me read this real quick before I continue. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed. So they're making these laws. Oh, wow. Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees. Slakia. Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees that deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, which are you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You're not factored into the New World Order picture. No matter how many of you sell out, seeing that Nicki Minaj is talking about Nigeria and how the Nigerian government rulers are attacking the Christians, which has nothing to do with her. She said she came for the stead of Donald J. Trump, so they're using the celebrities to promote these people's agenda. So they've helped forward to oppress the Lord's people with these unrighteous laws. Did a show maybe a couple weeks ago, a month ago, out here in New York City, where people was losing their homes without them even knowing. And why? Because of the water bill. The water bill, when they they pay off the mortgages, which we all know mortgage means death. So some people paid off their mortgages in Brooklyn. And then them not knowing they had an outstanding bill that the city came around and took their whole house from them without them even knowing. They even give them a warning. And it did it during the most sensitive time in America during the pandemic. So it shows the mindset that these people have. They want to take everything you got, every single thing from you. They don't want to leave you not with a crumb. And this is not the great oppressive state. It says, making widows they prey and robbing the fatherless. And this is what they do. All right? This is exactly what they do. The system is designed to do this. This is what they practice all the time. All right? The elites practice this hoarding spirit every single time. It says, verse 2, they covet fields. So the word covet means take something that belongs to somebody else. So although you go by their rules and you buy a house, I'm talking about United States. You buy a house, which is impossible. So you buy the house is yours. You still got to pay property taxes. And they say now the property taxes are going up. So although they took the land and you go by their rules, they still intend to take that which you claim to have for yourself. It says, and take them by violence and the houses and take them away. So they oppress a man. And that's part of the oppressive. All right. That's how people get oppressed. Means pressure from above and pressure from below. You get assistance. First of all, the housing, the price for getting a house itself is ridiculous. Not the same value. None of that. Let alone that you got to pass it. You want to pass it down to your children or your children's children. You can't do it no longer. because this is nothing but a debt-based system. It says, in his house, even a man in his heritage. What is a heritage? Something that you pass down. Heritage, possession, property, inheritance, heritage, property. So your property is no longer yours. Your property is no longer part of your family because they passed these wicked laws. Yet people think that this is the land of opportunity. Surely not for Israel. All right. Yeah, and what I mentioned, the show I did was out here in Brooklyn. It was all Jake. They even had a lot of homeowners that was getting ripped off. All right, and who was taking it? The small hat wearers, because they keep passing certain laws without people even knowing what there is that are actual homeowners. So, and then you want Trump wants to make it 50-year mortgages. This is why this world got to go. All right, you jump down 10. Arise ye, depart, for this is not your rest. Because it's polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So this is not our rest. This is not made for us to live forever. Clearly, their intention is not to allow people to have anything. It's clear as day. All right. You're not made to have anything. Baruch 3 and 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. And this is the constant reminder. We are in captivity. Okay? We, as Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we are in captivity. Now, what's ironic about that video, it was a Jake that was doing it, and what it was in the middle class. Once you hear middle class, the real focus of middle class is Jake, all right? The well-to-do Negroes. That whole section of middle class is being destroyed. It got destroyed mostly with Obama, but now it's really destroyed. And people don't realize that we're in captivity. You own nothing. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. Okay, Deuteronomy 28, and what is it? 2, maybe? Deuteronomy 28. I haven't read this one in a while. That's a good one. Right. I started here. 43. The stranger that's within thee shall get up over thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, thou shalt be the tail. Isn't that not our people? You have people that come to this country, legal, illegal, whatever, they'll get loans and so forth, start a business in our neighborhoods. All right. Living up the dream, so to speak. Owning property when you can't even own property. So they think. So this is true. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, shall overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hast not hearkened in the voice of the Lord thy power, and keep his commandments and his statutes which he have commanded this day. So this was part of a major curse. This is why we are in our captivity to this day, to this very moment. Okay, where that has scattered us, not just in America, it's all over, for a reproach, a curse, and to be subject to payments. So some formal way, something is always coming where we have to pay back. All right, we're gonna have to give more than normal. So that's part of the curses, and the curses are being fulfilled. So all those that think that next year is going to be a better year for you, throw that shit out the window. Because what this man has in order, installed, nobody's going to have nothing. And like this guy said, you shall own nothing and be happy, according to the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. And that's the reason why we are in the condition that we are in. So that being said, sign real quick to the spirit. Shalom to the elect of the nation Israel. Shalom.